It had been 2 days since Chase made the wish, and was trying to start to wonder if he was really just kidding himself. Nothing indicated that Marshall and Sky were having relationship problems. No sign of one of their each other losing interest. They were still happy as they can be. I knew that thing had a bunch of baloney, thought Chase, as he stared at the couple playing tug of war against Zuma and Rubble. Maybe I should just accept the fact that I'm never going to have Sky. Hey Chase, you alright? Asked Rocky, walking over towards the police pup with a grumbled hello. You seemed really grumpy today. Everything okay? I'm fine, replied Chase, closing his eyes. I just didn't get enough sleep last night. Well, if you're sure, replied Rocky, shrugging as he started to walk away before pausing inside. Does this have to do anything with Marshall and Sky being together? Chase's eyes went wide open, and he slowly turned to Rocky, who was giving him that don't you lie look to me look. The German Shepherd opened his mouth to deny, but sighed and whimpered, How long? To be honest, I noticed it only recently. You only have looks spaced out when you're staring at them. Even on missions, answered Rocky. He sat down beside his friend. Did you like Sky too? Chase nodded his head. Wow, I guess that explains a lot. Your behavior and all, long time? Chase nodded again. I see. Why him and not me? Asked Chase, shaking his head. I don't want to keep thinking this, but I can't help but ask every day. What is it about him that she likes? Well, he's kind of funny and kind and loves to play a lot. I don't know, other than I guess it was meant to be? Asked Rocky, shrugging. I have never been in love, so I wouldn't know what to say. He then stared at Chase with a worried look. You aren't going to do anything drastic, are you? I already did, but it didn't have anything to do with it, replied Chase, not bothering to mention the monkey's paw still in his pup house. No, I'm just going to get used to it. That's the mature thing to do, Chase, said Rocky, nodding with approval. That's when all the pup tags started to lit, as Ryder's voice followed the suit. Paw Patrol, to the lookout! Ryder needs us, shouted the pups. They all rushed over to the lookout, with excited howls in the air. Chase quickly put away his feelings and focused on the mission to come. If there was one thing Chase could do, it would be to put his emotions away for the sake of the team. They all managed to get inside, but Marshall, as last as always, managed to trip on walking too fast. Whoa! Shouted Marshall as he tumbled inside. Look out! Shouted Zuma, but it was too late as they were all bowled over. Chase flew up in the air before landing on some pup. That pup happened to be Sky, who was looking at him with her beautiful eyes and he stared right back on top of her. He froze in place, seeing that her lips were close to each other, to the point where they could almost smell their scent from her mouth, mixed in with Marshall's from the previous kiss. For a second, all the time seems to freeze, and he felt more at peace at that moment when he had a few moments past. Hey, get your own girlfriend, giggled Marshall as he playfully pushed Chase off. Chase shook his head, almost ready to snap at Marshall for ruining the moment, until he quickly realized where he was. I was, keeping her warm for you. Thanks, but let's try to have a free way when we're older, teased Sky, with a wink that made all the boys blush and snicker. Who knew Sky had a dirty mind, replied Rubble, laughing as the elevator went up. Comes with hanging around you boys all day, stated Sky, as the elevator stopped halfway. Standing in place, they waited for the lockers to be opened, revealing their uniforms, which were carried by claws and other machines. They all each stood still, only moving when necessary as the mechanical limbs applied to them and to their respective clothing. Instead of the normal police officer uniform, Chase was receiving his super spy outfit, which is only used for specific missions. Usually, getting your own special outfit was a sign that you were on the mission. He wasn't really the only one, as Marshall was getting his EMT outfit too. Afterwards, a set of lockers opened, revealing their pup packs. Both Chase and Super Spy pup pack and Marshall's EMT pup pack were amongst the normal ones. Once their equipment was hooked up, the six waited for the elevator to continue upwards towards the top. Doors opening as they creaked out in the open, in proper and order as straight as it can be. Their faces at attention. Chase, pressing his paw on the floor, replied, "Paw Patrol, ready for action, Ryder, sir." "Thanks for coming, pups. We just lost a few people in the woods today," replied Ryder, as he pressed his pup pad, causing the big TV screen to appear. It showed a family of four walking in the trees happily. A family by the name of Johnson was taking a nature walk when they came across a bear. An angry bear suddenly appeared in front of the family, and they all scattered in different directions. Four of them fled, but they got all separated along the way. The father is currently with Jake and Everest, who reported what's going on. "Is that the bear in the area, Ryder?" asked Sky, looking worried. "We don't really know, but it's best to be cautious just in case. Someone could end up getting hurt," replied Ryder. "Remember, you just need to stay still when you're dealing with the bear or play dead to make it go away." "Like this?" "Blah!" Rubble flopped on his back, making a funny face with his tongue sticking out, much to the amusement of the rest. "Kinda like that, Rubble, but only a less funny," laughed Ryder, before clearing his throat. "For this mission, I need..." Chase's pup tag appeared on screen, making himself puff out of his chest. "Chase," addressed Ryder, "I'll need your tracking skills and a spy drone to help with search for the missing family members." "Spy Chase is on the case. I also need..." continued Ryder, as Sky's logo came on next. "Sky, your helicopter can use a spot for missing targets above. Use your Google to report anything you see down below." Yep. "Let's make it to the skies," cried out Sky, doing her signature backflip. "Last, I'll need Marshall." The Dalmatian's logo was next. "They could be just injured or hot from running in the forest. We need to make sure they're in good health when we find them." "I'm ready for a rough rescue," replied Marshall, following it with a bark. "Everest and Jake will be helping in the search while the rest of you pups stay here, if you're all right. Paw Patrol is on the roll," shouted Ryder, as he rushed towards his pole, and the others barked in excitement. Once he was down the sliding pole, Marshall and Chase and Sky all rushed towards the slide in proper order. Chase, howling as he slid down, watched his spy cruiser switch from his police cruiser to a hidden platform below. Placed in front of the slide, jumping in the air, he landed on the seat and activated the vehicle mode, allowing him to switch from his pup house to his spy cruiser. Driving to the side, he watched as Marshall, slipping onto his fire truck as always, and Sky landed on their vehicles. Sky was usually quickly to the skies, while Marshall went left and Chase went right, following Ryder in his ATV as they went across the bridge towards the direction of the forest. In 45 minutes, the Paw Patrol arrived just outside of Jake's cabin, where they saw the owner, Everest, and a balding man with a mustache who looked worried. Jake walked over and gave Ryder a salute. "Glad you dudes can make it. We're just about to start looking." "Good night, we're just arrived then. You must be Father Mr. asked Ryder. "Johnson." "My name is Daniel Johnson," replied the man, shaking Ryder's hand. "And you have to find my wife and 2 kids. They go by the names of Estelda, Donald, and George. I just came out from the western side of the forest, and they weren't there, so they must be in other areas." "Let's split up and search in separate areas," commanded Ryder, as he turned to the pups. "Chase, you'll head up north. Jake and Everest can head south, so I'll take the eastern area. Sky, cover the skies above while reporting anything you catches your eye." "And what do you just want me to do, Ryder?" asked Marshall. "Just wait here with your guests unless we need you. Everyone ready?" All cheered. "Let's go." The pups howled as they went to work. Sky was heading up in the air with the helicopter, while Chase put on his sirens and went north. Everest waited for Jake to get onto the back of the snowmobile, and they drove off while Ryder followed suit, leaving the worried Daniel Johnson with a comforting Marshall, who offered him a water bottle. 20 minutes had passed, but Chase still had found no sign of the missing family members. Only one of them had been found in the forest in the past few minutes by Everest and Jake, who has found one of the last boys. Donald was calling out for his parents already, and they were all heading back to Jake's cabin for Marshall to look at him and to make sure that he wasn't hurt or dehydrated. Sniffing the air again, Chase tried to get the scent of humans, but there was nothing going on. "Ryder, I spotted the mother. She's just about a mile away from you to the left." "It looks pretty tired too," replied Sky, high on her comm channel. "Nice work, Sky. I'll head there soon." "Chase, anything on your end?" asked Ryder. "Negative, Ryder, sir," replied Chase. "I'm going to activate my drone to see if I can cover any more ground that way." He pushed the brake pedal onto the halt and then jumped out of his spy cruiser. Heading back, the truck opened to reveal the drone operation controls. After activating his password, he pressed on the button. "Rough drone." His spy drone then shot out of his vehicle and flew into the forest in the speed of a hummingbird. The drone's camera streamed down everything that it saw to Chase his video screen. Using his controls, he had already had the drone sweep past through the trees and under the bushes for any signs of the missing boy, George. He soon noticed something out of the corner of his eye and pulled the camera to the left to see a hunched figure near a tree. Zooming in closer, he saw the little boy in hiking gear, holding his knee and with tears in his eyes. "Got him!" cried out as Chase activated his pup tag. "Ryder, sir, I found George. He looks hurt though, so you better send Marshall there." "Good work, Chase. Did you hear that, Marshall?" "Yup, on the way." Chase activated his spy drone to stay in place while heading back to the seat before driving forward. However, just as he began to move, he saw on the right of the screen that George was climbing up the tree as fast as possible. Despite him looking in pain, Chase's curiosity for his action answered when his drone's camera spotted a bear roaring and coming closer. "Oh no," replied Chase, as he quickly recalled. "Ryder, the bear's making its way towards George." "Can you get him from there in time?" asked Ryder. "Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to frighten the bear away," replied Chase. "Don't worry, I just have an idea." "Hang in there, Chase," cried out Sky. Hoping his crush could make it in time, Chase put a paw over to his metal to speed things up. It didn't take long for Chase to arrive where the bear and George were. Luckily, the boy managed to reach the top of the trees, despite his knee wound. Chase managed to get the bear's attention and to his sirens, but now he was facing as the beast was growling at him. Thinking quickly, Chase barked, "Net!" Activating his net launcher, it fired and shot and landed on the bear, who roared in anger while trying to shake it off. Sky, are you coming with that plan?" asked Chase, knowing that his net wouldn't be able to hold the bear off forever. "Right, you are on 6, Chase," said Sky, who just flew overhead, her chopper claw already activated, carrying out something. Using his goggles, Chase was able to zoom and notice it. Wait, if that's a beehive, then there are... not far from Sky, right behind her, a tall swarming bees was trying to chase down their last honey. "And release," shouted Sky as she let go of the hive. "Bombs away!" Just as the bear managed to get the net off, he felt something smack its head above. Before tasting away to the familiar taste, before he could enjoy it, however, the sting of dozen angry bees followed even more, and even swarmed, causing him to yell in pain. No longer caring about anything else, the bear ran away as fast as he could with the swarm of stingers behind him. Chase couldn't help but laugh at the sight, even though he felt sorry for the poor bear. "Nice work, Sky," yelled Chase from below. "Thanks. That'll teach that nasty bear to behave, am I right?" joined Sky. "Hey, I thought I was supposed to do the bad jokes," said Marshall as he drove up behind Chase. "Hey, Sky, you think you could bring George down so I can check him out?" "Sure thing, Harness," called out Sky as she lowered down her special harness. Marshall and Chase both got out their vehicles and later contacted Ryder while informing them about waiting near the tree. Watching George come down. "Ryder, sir, we got George safe and sound. Marshall's going to giving him a good check over. Roger, Chase. I'll be there in 3 minutes, replied Ryder. Chase turned off the channel and he turned to as Marshall got out his equipment. While waiting for George, he just landed. Marshall's ears perked up. Hey, do you hear that? Hear what? Asked Chase, tilting his head. That sound kinda is like his... And just when it came, there was a lightning bolt that struck from the bushes nearby without anybody noticing it. It seemed to be slowed down as something was long, black, and mouth opened wide with its fangs. It loosened until it buried its deep bark into Marshall's neck. The scream erupted from Marshall, anything like Chase had ever heard of it before. Within an instant, it tackled his best friend in the van to save him. Ah! Screamed Marshall as the black snake bit into his bleeding neck. Despite the Dalmatian's attempts to shake it off, Get it off of me! Get it off of me! Marshall! Shouted Sky. From above, from the terror, she watched below. George was frightened of how it happened. He struggled back in fear. Chase, help him! Chase tried to bite the snake off, but it quickly unattached itself from Marshall and dodged a bite. Quickly, slithering around its prey, it took another quick bite, just in time, this time on Marshall's paw, earning another howl, only this time it was silenced by gasps of breath, as Marshall hacked and coughed. His face was slowly turning blue as his veins and his neck began to turn purple. Chase screamed both in anger and desperation as he dived again for the snake, caring less if he got it to stop hurting his best friend. The snake then dodged again, hissing and as if taunting Chase, between Marshall's body shaking from the poison entering his veins. The snake angrily, slightly moves, even so hard to catch the damn thing. Just as it could get any worse, the snake bit hard the third time, this time between Marshall's rear legs, where his stings were. Despite not even being able to scream, teary eyes and painful expression on Marshall's puffing and colored face of the unbearable pain, roaring, Chase finally managed to grab the snake and toss it away, where it flew back into the wilderness. Marshall! Shouted Chase, in fear as he rushed over to his best friend and gasped in horror. The once joyful, shining face of Marshall was now with tears and purple veins. His eyes were bloodshot, and snot dripped from his nose, in desperate attempt for air, his mouth foaming as he struggled to say something, while his eyes, at the back of his head, his body began to contort and shake as the wounds of the bites began to bleed, mixing with the pool of urine below. Marshall, hold on! Marshall! Shouted a teary-eyed Sky, who she just rushed to his side to try and touch him, but Chase stopped her. Let me go! Let me go! No, the poison might just get you, shouted Chase, struggling to help her from touching no matter how much she fought. She screamed with tears falling from her face. Chase didn't even notice that he was crying too, just as Ryder arrived towards Marshall, doing his best to handle, but even the look on his face spoke of uncertainty. What happens, Chase? Shouted Ryder, demanding answers. A snake, black and quick, and ran away, shouted Chase, feeling his heartbeat increase, as if it became harder to breathe. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. Look for some antitoxin in Marshall's EMT truck. It might have something that can help. And I'll call 911, shouted Ryder, taking his pup pad out. Chase then dropped Sky, who rushed towards Marshall's side. He made a dash like never before to the EMT, smashed it open, pushing it away and everything he can to try to find something for the snake's bite. Come on, come on, come on, damn it, where is it? Don't you dare, Marshall, don't you die. I fought Chase repeatedly, but no matter how much he searched, he couldn't find anything. Shit! He then rushed out to where Ryder and Sky were. Sir, I can't find any, what should we... He stopped and paused. He noticed that their faces of disbelief and tears of sorrow. He slowly turned to Marshall, who had stopped the struggle, and lay still on its back, its legs twitching every few seconds. His eyes were now fully up. His chest was not even rising once. It took Chase a good 30 seconds to realize that his whole best friend in the whole world was dead. Marshall? Come, get up. Come on, get up, whispered Sky, tears falling down her cheek as she struggled to smile. This isn't funny. Joke's over. You can stop playing dead now. Oh, Sky, whispered Ryder. He slowly began to place his hand on her head, but she snapped back, forced him back. Don't touch me, screamed Sky. Her eyes were both wide in fear and anger. He's not dead. He wouldn't leave me. He wouldn't separate himself from me. Not like this. Chase froze upon hearing this. Not my Marshall. Not my Marshy, whispered Sky as she began to crumble and lean back. Not him. Unable to make any more, she fainted and Ryder caught her, screaming her name. Chase didn't even do anything, but stayed frozen and stared at Marshall's painful-looking deceased face. He wished that they would have been separated. He wished for something to break them apart. Something did, and the one thing that would break anything apart, something that nothing could fix. Death. Death tore up his friends apart, and Chase had caused it to happen. Chase, feeling like bile exiting from his mouth, turned away and puked as it was mixed with tears, realizing what he had done. He had lost his best friend, and his paws were stained with blood.